You are welcome here, just the way you are. No more hiding tears, no more covering scars. You are welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you want to be. Bring your deepest hopes and all your wildest dreams. You are welcome, holy welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you are. No more hiding tears, no more covering scars. You are welcome, holy welcome. You are welcome here, just the way you want to be. Bring your deepest hopes and all your wildest dreams. You are welcome.
There's something in the air, the dream of life in love, with minds that rest in prayer, sparking joy we're in awe. No matter where your path has been or time will somehow flies, like souls will come home again, true friendship ever thrives. Is this where the magic happens? Can you feel the hearts revealed right now in you and me? The secret is wherever we are. There's something in a smile that can turn a day around. Moments so worthwhile when we find common ground. No matter what the day might bring, right here we can align, knowing that we will be seen as perfect, whole, divine. This is where the magic happens. Let's feel all the hearts, from close to me and me to you. The secret is wherever we are. So meet me where the magic happens, feeling all the hearts, united now in you and me. The secret is wherever, the secret is whenever, the secret is together we are.
Well, hello. Welcome, everybody. This is the Center for Spiritual Living's Sunday online service, and we're really glad whenever or wherever you're watching us from, we're glad you're with us. We're an open and loving, inclusive community that supports thinking creatively and living a deeply spiritual life. So we're glad you're here, and we're actually here for you. So good morning. Our purpose is to love, teach, guide, and support a spiritual community in creating and living a life they love using science of mind and spirit principles and practices. That's what we do. So our team today is, we have Marina Anderson in the background handling the technical stuff. My name is Alan Stanley. I'll be your host and sing a couple songs with you. One of our practitioners, Christopher McCardle, will be offering our invocation, and our reading will be provided by Gwen Hadley, one of our core council members. And we have a very special guest, our friend, Rev Veronica Silva from Long Beach, California, is going to offer our message today. So just sit back and relax and enjoy yourself, and we'll all have a good time, that's for sure. So we're going to start out with a little tune that we can sing it together, and then Christopher's going to come in and offer our invocation, and we'll sing a little bit more to get out of it. So let's just sit back and be quiet. I will make a quiet place within my heart, and I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. I will make a quiet place within my mind, and I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know I will make a quiet place within my life, and I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord.
All right, it's time for each of us to find our quiet place. As we open service, I invite you to be comfortable, to let go of all that's occurred up to now and just become present as we begin a new day, a new service, a new moment in time. And I recognize that this divine energy, the energy of life itself, is the flowing force that is present here right in this very moment. I know it's present with each one of you in your space, watching the screen as I speak. And I know the newness of life is always just one moment in time away. Just as the bare branches on the trees are pulling that light into them to be born new in the spring, each one of us has that same energy flowing that our lives are just continuously being born new, that our thoughts are new, our ideas are new, our knowledge and wisdom is new. And it all comes from that divine light, that divine intelligence that brings our thoughts into the creative idea, into the growth, into the beauty of life itself. So in this knowing, in this basking of the light of life, I feel the gratitude for each of you here, gratitude for the technology that's allowed us to be here in this moment. The gratitude for all of the technology showing itself so we can embrace the new. So in that gratitude, I just simply let service open. I let it open to the light, to the intelligence, to the divine wisdom that is each of you receiving. And I let it be. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Christopher. I will make a quiet place within my heart. I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. I will make a quiet place within my mind. I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know. I will make a quiet place within my life. I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. I will make a quiet place. I will make a quiet place. Now I would like to welcome Gwen, who's going to offer our reading for today. Hello, Gwen.
Good morning, Alan. Thank you. So my reading today comes from Science of Mind magazine, and it's written by our friend Eugene Holden. It's a personal affirmation for January entitled A Grand Rising. Rise and shine. This is the time to stand up and stand out. Now is the time of your grand rising. Releasing all that didn't serve us in 2023, we commit to being more in 2024. Surrendering to the good. Good is all around us. We just need to choose to see it. Seeing the good is a choice. The next step is to surrender to the good that always surrounds us. To be grand. To be grand is to be magnificent. We are to remember who we are so that we may be a healing and beneficial presence to the planet. Now is the time to live your greatness. One life. There is only one life. That life is filled with beauty, grace, abundance, and peace. Let us remember to see this truth. There is only one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. You are that life now. And so I surrender to my magnificent life. I raise my vibration to experience only the highest and the best. I am grateful for this thing called life. I am one in God, and so it is.
So it is, Gwen. Thank you. Great choice. That was great. So I was looking at the song for the invocation and deciding which one to play, that quiet place. And I thought, well, I got a song kind of like that. It's a moment, could be a place. So you're welcome. This is kind of an experience of mine. You're welcome to sing along. I studied with the best of teachers from winter till fall. Listen to the greatest speakers in the finest of halls. But until I found the silence, I had nothing to show. Because there's more in a quiet moment than I could ever know. I traveled to the farthest corners of this world alone, pondered all the great religions that mankind has known. But until I found the silence, I continue to roam. Because there's more in a quiet moment than I could ever know. There's a place in everybody. Just be still and go. Then you'll find in that quiet moment all you wanted to know. In the depths of our soul is waiting a voice still and small. In a garden full of joy and loving, God made for us all. From the heart our spirits calling, showing us the way home. There's so much in a quiet moment. Just be still and go. There's a place in everybody. Just be still and go. Then you'll find in that quiet moment all you wanted to know. There's so much in a quiet moment. Just be still and know. Oh, I love that. Well, this month's topic is a grand rising. And today's message is It's a New Life. And we'd like to welcome our friend, Rev Veronica Silva, who's going to offer our message for us today. Welcome, Reverend.
Welcome. Thank you.
Yay.
Beautiful, beautiful song, Alan.
Well,
thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. I'm going to let you take it away, my friend.
Okay. All right. Good morning. Good morning, St. George. So glad to be here. I'm Reverend Veronica from Pacific Coast Centers for Spiritual Living in Seal Beach, California, which is right next to Long Beach. And so grateful. Thank you, Reverend Joe, for the opportunity to speak at your center. I think Reverend Laura was here last time I spoke, and Reverend Joe and I were attended ministerial school together. So I'm grateful for the opportunity. So thank you. And Gwen, what a great reading. So perfect for today's topic. And Chris, thank you again for the beautiful prayer. So thank you I feel like set up and ready to go. Actually, I probably don't even need to do a talk, and the consciousness and the energy is so good now. So thank you. And yes, today's topic is a grand rising. And so if I could have the first slide, please. This is what CSL is talking about for a grand rising. It's a new life. And that changing the world is not for the faint of heart. And this is my addition in the parentheses. And neither is changing yourself. The challenges in front of us may seem insurmountable, but with the power and love of spirit expressing itself as us, we can do anything. And I say yes to that is what is being asked of us here today. And now in this moment, as you know, the world has changed. And so my question is, how are we adapting and changing with it? And so when we talk about a grand rising, I want to, for me, my interpretation is not necessarily, it can be, rising in consciousness, but we know when we expand in consciousness, we grow in consciousness. So I want us to just think not linearly that it's just up, but that it's out and deep within, because we know we're talking about, a power much greater than ourselves, who is center is everywhere, and center is everywhere, and circumference is nowhere. So when we talk about rising, we're talking about circumference that is nowhere. So we're talking about a grand rising. Okay, so that's what I wanted to talk to you about. And if we can move to the next slide, please. So the Michael Singer from Untethered Soul, an amazing book. If you haven't read it, I definitely recommend it. He says that the spiritual journey is one of constant transformation. In order to grow, you must give up the struggle to remain the same and learn to embrace change at all times. So he's saying constant struggle and change at all times. And we're like, don't I get to rest sometimes? And so, and the struggle is, sometimes we struggle when it comes to growth. We resist growth. So it's not the growing that's the difficult part. It's the resistance to the growth that sometimes we can put, because it requires change, right? It requires change. How many of us love change? We just love change. Bring it on, right? But it's constantly happening. Change is constantly happening all around us all the time. And so I'm offering to change our relationship with change and look at it differently, because sometimes we get, I'm not quite ready for that one yet. Sometimes we get attached to the way things are because we're comfortable. And I get it. I do too. I like being curled up in my bed under the covers and being comfortable. Who doesn't, right? Who doesn't? But I believe, because we're with Centers for Spiritual Living, I believe that we want to grow and expand and be better in spirit, mind, and body. And to the extent that we are willing to grow and go deep within, is the extent that we will have a grand rising. They're interrelated. The amount that we're willing to go deep inside and learn and grow within, and acknowledge and be authentic about what's really going on inside, the further down we go, the more we have the grand rising. And so that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Because there's one thing that we can guarantee in life, and it is change, right? Life can go up and life can go down. How many of you have ever had setbacks in your life? Setbacks. Yes, we can consider a setback as maybe the downswing in life. And then what that setback has provided is an opportunity to learn more about yourself and learn how to grow and learn more tools that then goes right up into a different level in consciousness, a new growth. And because we have, and you know the answer to this question, a repeated pattern that keeps showing up in your life, a repeated pattern that you just can't shake. Because I know that we my goal is to how I be in the world is how I be in my home. And how I be in my home, sometimes I have these repeated patterns that keep showing up. And so I want to acknowledge these patterns and heal and release that which is interfering with how I can be authentic in all areas of my life. And so that in consciousness, who I am is who I am. And and it's not to bring shame or to be embarrassed about these patterns, because these patterns are our teachers. These patterns are what we've come here to overcome and grow. And these patterns are the stepping stones or the stairs to us growing in consciousness. And just like, like I said before, we need sometimes to have a setback to rise up. And so as we move on to the next slide, this is not just something made up. This is something that exists in the world, in the world, in our human world. And so if you think about a bow and arrow, the amount of tension that you pull back on that bow and arrow is the amount that bow and arrow will shoot out into the world. So it's that tension. It's called elastic potential energy. I looked it up. Okay, I'm not a physicist or anything, but I wanted to know what it was called. And so if you don't pull that tension back very far, the bow and arrow is going to just kind of land right in front of you. But if you are interested in going deep within yourself and you pull back on that bow and arrow and you point it in the direction that you want, it will catapult itself into a higher level of consciousness, because that's what the energy of the contraction of the bow and arrow will do. And the same is true for our plants. Have you ever seen a green plant that has pressed through the asphalt and grown against what seems to be an impossible barrier to surmount? Why is that? How can that plant do that? It's another example of a grand rising that the universe has given us to show us that we human beings have the same potential. And this plant is pressing through the cement because of two reasons: osmosis, so the water it draws from the soil makes it grow, and then its desire to follow the light. Its desire to follow the light pulls it upwards through cement, through asphalt. Isn't that amazing? Because it seems so fragile, right? It seems so fragile, this plant. And that's us. That's you and I. That's our ability to absorb the nutrients and the water from the soil, so that we can go towards the light and grow. But the highest we can grow is how deep are our roots. If you plant a plant in a pot and you plant the exact same plant next to it on the ground, which one's going to grow taller? Well, how deep can the roots grow? The one that's planted in the soil, in the ground, has the ability to grow deep roots and absorb more soil and more water and more nutrients from the soil, which allows it to grow and to grow and to grow. So these are examples that are given to us from the universe about our human potential to grow. And so, and knowing, here's another example: is ocean. The ocean rises and it has low tide. The waves rise up and the waves come down. So there's many examples. And being in St. George, I'm hoping some of you can relate. I love to snow ski. I love being up in the mountains. I love the snow. I'm not very good at it, but I love doing it. It feeds my soul to be in the mountains, especially when there's snow. And I went skiing the other day, and granted, we don't have the great snow that you do in Utah, but there was enough. There was enough this year. And I was driving up the mountain, and I got, to the top, and I had to be careful because I was driving, but I glanced down at the depth that these mountains have. And you look down and there's like this valley. It's like so vast and so dark and deep. And I was like, oh, I felt that. I felt what looks like a contradiction, like the high and the low of life, right? And that we always seek, do we not? We want to be at the mountaintop. We love the mountaintop. The view from the top is great, isn't it? It's like, oh, God, and the view, we can see the expansion of life itself and the earth and the beauty, and we love the mountaintop. However, you cannot have a mountain without a valley. It's impossible. The mountain needs the valley for it to exist. And so I'm offering that deep depths of the valley, that it resides within us as well, and to honor and acknowledge it, that it's part of who we are. It's part of the universe that keeps giving us examples of who we are, out picturing as life itself, of the ocean, of the mountains, of the plant growing through. As I kept researching deeper and deeper, I'm like, it's everywhere. And so must mean that it's within us too. Isn't that great? Isn't that good to know? That because sometimes we shy away from going into the deep depths of our soul. We don't want to visit that because it's uncomfortable. And I get it. I get it. I have been uncomfortable in my spiritual growth. But, the more I look around, the more I see that it's a necessary part of life. Our heart, I'm a nurse, by the way, in case for those of you who didn't know. And if you think about it, our heart, our pump, that the thing that keeps us alive as human beings on this earth, if you put these little patches and wires on us and look at the screen, what does it show? It shows an EKG, the energy of our heart, because it shows that energy, the EKG strip. And so, oh my gosh, there's ups and downs in our EKG, the energy of our heart itself that provides this life force energy and pumps the blood through our body as well, has ups and downs. All right, God, I'm getting the message. Because, comfortability, I call it comfortability. Like I said, it's nice. But in the world of EKGs, that would be like flatlining. And we don't want flatlining, right? We don't want that straight line coming across our EKG strip, because that's not growth. That's not life. Life has ups and downs. And so in order to have this grand rising that we so desire, like we love it when we feel the presence of God as our life. Yes. So my offering to you is maybe we can find a way to love the valley, the depths of our soul that sometimes we have to go in, so that maybe we can acknowledge and love and heal the parts of us that keep having repeated patterns that maybe we don't like. And so as we move to the next slide, another great example is the rocket ship, the rocket ship. And this is the beauty of it, because Newton's third law of motion tells us that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And so that's what I'm talking about here, the equal and opposite reaction. That rocket ship carrying the shuttle cannot take off if it didn't have this thrusting propulsion pushing down so that it can launch. So it has this opposite reaction. And so when in life, when we think we're going down into a deep place, just honoring that, this is the equal and opposite reaction that is necessary for my launching in consciousness to the next level. And usually, like I said, it's a repeated pattern. And some of us may be aware of it, and some of us may not be aware of that repeated pattern. But if you think about your life, you can think about what is it that keeps showing up. And I'll share mine with you. Mine are boundaries, and my inability to set my boundaries for myself. And the other one is insecurity. Those are the two lessons that I have in this life, that I work through and struggle through and propulse down into, that I'm working through to move myself into the next level of consciousness. I went out with some friends from my center, and I hadn't, we merged 2 centers. So I'm learning new friends, right? And I was invited out. And so I went out with some friends from the center, and I came home and all my insecurities rose to the top. I don't socialize a lot, and I figured out why. Is because I don't like feeling those insecurities. Did they like me? And this is like I felt like I was in junior high again, right? Was I too much this? Was I not enough this? And all those insecurities rose to the top. And I'm like, you know, I am an accomplished woman. I'm a minister. I was a charge nurse. I raised 4 children. I get this, you know, why am I feeling like I'm 13 years old right now? And so I share this with you because I want you to know that it's okay to be human. It's okay to have these and acknowledge these feelings that exist within us, because that's how we can go deep into the valley and acknowledge them and still love ourselves for them and still be okay with, oh, this is the human part of being spiritual. We say, are we a human being having a spiritual experience, or are we spiritual having a human experience? I don't know if that question is answerable, but this is the human part of that. The human part that we came when we were made in the image of likeness in God. We came with emotions. We came with lessons to be learned. We came with traumas that we've experienced. And sometimes our teaching, once in a while, I've heard our teaching is used to bypass this part of our humanity. But it wouldn't be given to us if it was meant to be bypassed. It was given to us as a means and a tool to connect even deeper with the God within. That's why it was given to us. It wasn't given to us to send it off to the side and say, oh, feeling that feeling, I'm just going to let it go. No, it was given to us for us to look, because we so and searching and desiring to be connected with all that is. How do I do that? How do I do that? Well, it's right here as a stepping stone, as a tool to move through it. And so sometimes I find myself, because I've been in the science of mind for over 20 years, and I've done that where I'm like, just bypassing, everything's good, God is good, and inside I'm suffering. And I go home and I'm suffering. And that's not what we were made. That's not how we were made to suffer. We were made to use that which causes us to suffer. We were made to use that as our launching pad, as the propulsion of the rocket ship to expand in consciousness. So maybe we can change our perspective of the dark night of the soul. Maybe we could change that perspective. Richard Rohr tells us that the times when we meet or reckon with our contradictions are often turning points, opportunities to enter into the deep mystery of God. The times when we meet or reckon with our contradictions. Contradictions, I say, is when we say, it's not supposed to be like this. This is not how my life is supposed to be. This is not how I want to be. Those are the contradictions, because we know to the depths of our soul that we are made in the image and likeness of God, that we can do better, that we do know the joy and the love and the peace and the prosperity that is the truth of who we are at the core of our being. We know that is the truth of us. And then we go and do what we do as human beings. And so that's the contradiction. It's like, God, how do I know this about me? But yet I still have this pattern. And that's the contradictions of life. And Richard Rohr is saying that that's the turning point, an opportunity to enter into the deeper mystery of God. It is a mystery, isn't it? God is a mystery. It's like, why is that? Why am I experiencing this? And maybe that valley, maybe that depths of your soul, it could be like insecurity. It could be addiction. It could be a lot of fear. It could be trauma that you experienced. All of it is brought to each and every one of us as launching pads, as propellants into our next level of consciousness, if we choose to visit the valley. If we choose. and we choose to do it, maybe we need an assistance. Maybe we need assistance from therapists, from a practitioner in different ways. We are all in this together. There's not one of us who doesn't go home and thinks about patterns, or has patterns that they don't desire, that they wish were a little bit different. I don't feel that there are anyone that we all have those patterns. And these are the patterns that make us up, that like a quilt, that are woven for our highest good. I never thought of my insecurity as being for my highest good. I never thought of my inability to set boundaries as for my highest good, because they seem to just bring me more suffering. Doggone it. But when I stop and look, I'm like, oh, thank you for that inner wisdom that just came forth when I stopped and looked at that pattern a little bit deeper. When I stopped and felt the feelings of what it feels like to not hold my boundaries. Ew, didn't like that. Don't like that feeling. But I stopped and felt it. We are in a world of busyness and lots of movement and lots of internet and technology and distractions. I think this is the most important time in our world that we need to be still. We need to be still, just like the song that was sung right before this talk. It is time to be still, because when we can be still, we can hear that still small voice that teaches us and helps us to heal these parts of us, and helps us feel that feeling that we've been resisting or avoiding. And it's there for us to learn. And sometimes that might mean a big, ugly cry. How many avoid a big, ugly cry? What if I told you that a big, ugly cry is like pulling the bow back in the bow and arrow? Yes. That frees us and launches us into the next level of consciousness. And it's a healing moment. And so I'm just offering these ideas as to how we can have this grand rising in consciousness, where we can be all that we are capable of being, with all our humanity that we came with. I don't know if it ever goes away. I don't know. It hasn't for me, So if it's not going to go away, maybe it might fade a little bit and not run my life so much, so that I can recognize and remember who I am and the truth of who I am, because what's happened and what was causing me suffering now kind of a little bit faded, and not influencing my words, thoughts, or actions as much anymore, because I have more of the truth. I know more of the truth, and I'm remembering more of the truth of who I am through spiritual practice, through prayer, meditation. Maybe yoga helps you to remember who you are. Maybe therapy helps you to remember. Because it is possible. It is possible for us to live from that place and be a better guardian of the gatekeeper of our minds. And so that we can acknowledge when we have forgotten, and do and honor it in that moment, instead of noticing a shadow, we'll call it shadow part of ourselves, or a part of us that we don't like. Instead of noticing it and bypassing it with God is good all the time, and and instead of doing that, we just go. It's like instead of going straight to the mountaintop, we go to the valley and say, okay, God, this is part of my humanity. This is part of my humanity. This is who I am, and help me walk through this. Help me to see what I need to see, so I can be a greater expression of myself. I say yes to that. Help me see what I need to see, so that I can be a greater expression of myself on this earth, and so that I can help others. I say yes. That is beautiful. And as we move to the next slide, this is from the 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership book, the book, great book. says, what if the great opportunity of life isn't in trying to get the world to be a certain way, but is in learning from whatever the world gives us? Yes, whatever the world gives us. How can I learn from this? Please show me the way. Who do I need to become? What do I need to let go of so that I can learn from whatever the world gives me? And so then I'm not in reactionary mode, and I'm more in response mode, and I'm more in the place of being with that which the world gives me. We are created, if in this world of every action, has an opposite and equal reaction. I often wonder, and this is just a question I'm posing that I always like asking questions that I don't have the answer to, so that you can ponder them yourselves. But, in the absoluteness of God, and the joy and the peace and the power and the prosperity and abundance of God, the absolute potentiality of God, there are no opposites, right? There are no opposites. But maybe we were created in that image and likeness to bring forth the opposites, because doesn't it seem like that is sometimes the parts of us that we don't like, or that we're trying to heal, or called the shadow, is the necessary part of the light, the opposite of the light? And opposites exist only in the world of humanity, not in the world of God. So when we think about that, maybe that's why we were made to bring forth and release that and acknowledge that, so that we can be more of the light. So just a idea that I had, to a perspective, because everything's a perspective. Our viewpoint in life is a perspective. So if we change that perspective, and as we go into any depths of our learning and living, that we have the perspective that this is an opportunity for growth. What life and what the world has given us is an opportunity for me to grow in consciousness, because I know that we want to change the world. We want the world to be different. We don't want war. We don't want so many homeless in this world. There's a big gap between the poor and the rich. There's there's lots of things happening that people might say, or someone might say, I don't want that. And so sometimes we go out there to try and change the world. But we know that Gandhi has taught us that that we first need to be the peace that we wish to see in the world. And so how do we find the peace within us? Is that we reconcile the depths of our valleys, so that we can experience the triumph of the mountaintop. And so when, it's great to sing it in a song, let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. And now my offering to you is to do that, is to do the work of going within and cultivating the consciousness of navigating your soul, the depths of your soul, to bring yourself into the grand rising individually. And then as we individually rise in consciousness and expand in consciousness, it cannot help but expand in consciousness collectively. So our individual work is so imperative if we want to see change in this world. If we want to see change in this world, it is imperative that we do the work that has been shown to each of us individually, because it's individual, so that we may be the change that we wish to see in the world. So I so appreciate this time and opportunity to be with you, St. George. And I'm going to close with a prayer for the highest good for all concerned. So as we go within and know that there is only one God, there is only one presence, there is only one love, one joy, one peace, one abundance. Ooh, yes, one wholeness. This God, this presence of that is everywhere present, is in its entirety, in its wholeness, is present within me right now, right here. And its presence is everywhere within everyone whose this prayers, who their ears, this prayer falls upon their ears. And from this place of knowingness, I declare right here, right now, that health and wholeness is the order of the day, that any discord in the body, in the mind, or in the spirit is now touched by the wholeness and the health of the Holy Spirit right now. And that peace beyond human understanding is the experience within the body, within the mind, within the spirit. That this peace beyond human understanding is present right here and right now. I say yes. Ooh, let's take a breath and absorb that peace right here. That is who we are right now. Yes. And any struggles right now that may be going on with abundance and prosperity, I declare right now that the floodgates of prosperity are opened within right here and right now, that is the experience of life itself, that prosperity and opulence and abundance is the experience of life, and everyone who is hearing this prayer right now is feeling this abundance and prosperity running through them and expanding as their experience. All needs are met right now. I say yes, all needs are met. Please say that with me. All needs are met right now. Yes. Thank you, God. Thank you so much for the knowledge of the law that only says yes to that which we impress upon it. I accept this right now. I am the recipient. I am ready to receive right here and right now from the place of absolute gratitude and thanksgiving. Yes, I say yes to gratitude and thanksgiving. As we all say together, and so it is, and so it shall be. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Veronica. That was great. You actually hit a couple buttons in me at elastic potential energy. Well, I had never even looked that one up myself. But when you put the connection with the big ugly cry, I'll have to get off of here in a minute, because there's some of that energy built up, I feel. And thank you for bringing that forward. And as a singer-songwriter, I deal with insecurities often. And so that was great that you touched on that. So I'm really happy we got you to come back. We know you're really busy. And so hopefully soon we'll see you again. Thank you. Thank you. Please accept our love and blessings to you, and express that to our friends at the Seal Beach when you get there in a little bit. Thank you so much, Reverend. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Blessings.
Whoop, there we go. All right. Well, at least there wasn't a stage to fall off of. Got really into that one. So that was really good. We really get some special guests here. So I'm just glad you're tuning in, and we got something special every day. So we have some announcements. The prayer connection is prayer@cslstgeorge.org. If you'd like somebody to pray with, you can come back, somebody get in touch with you. Our next in-person service is going to be on February 11th, and that will be at the same place at the Masonic Lodge. And you come in on the backside where the awning is. We put up a little sign for people like me to get lost easy. But, our Zoom conversation is going to be coming on here today on the top of the hour, which is, we're getting close to the top of that. So please join us there. I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about. Our core council application deadline is extended to January 31st. If you'd like to get involved with the operation of the center, please consider that. It's another way to serve, and you can contact the core council and get the application process going. We'd just love to have you pitch in a little bit with us. So the Interfaith Harmony Day get-together is on February 17th. This is a bunch of singers, choirs, and singers and groups from different denominations in the St. George area. We join together and celebrate. So there's more details on that in the newsletter and on our website. So we've got our group together, and we're going to start rehearsing next week. So we hope you can find the time on the 17th. Come out and join us. We had a really great time there last year. And we're always happy with people to share in our prosperity. There's many ways to share. You can use Zelle. It's a bank-to-bank transfer system. I use that. It's really simple. You can give online. You can use PayPal, or you can send a check in the mail and to the PO box, and you can see that here at the bottom or find that on the website. So please join us. We really thank you in advance for that. Now, upcoming is our own Reverend Joe Kovac on the 28th. The subject will be feeling good. And again on February 4th, the lesson in I'm uncomfortable saying that. Uncomfortability will be the subject. So please join us. We'll welcome you. So I think now we're going to bring everybody back up, and we're going to say our closing affirmation, and please read it along with us. And it's how we end our great Sunday services. Anybody missing? Is out? Oh, there he is. Okay, here we go. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all that I do.
I am it, I embrace it, and I share it.
Just the way that it is and just the way that it's becoming. Thank you,
Thank
Mike.
you, Mike.
Woo!
Thanks for
Thank
being
you.
here with us, folks.
Thank you, everybody. See
Bye.
you soon. Bye.
Good Sunday.